her book. And
so what you're saying is Petraeus gave it for a piece of tail.
Yes.
Okay.
Wildly different context.
Family show.
Wildly different context.
Notice I did it family style.
What he's doing is creating a red herring for an issue that he called a red herring.
Right. Admiral Ken.
So my only having listening to most of Director Comey's presentation in front of Congress with regard to the possibility that Secretary Clinton may have lied under oath when she testified in front of Congress. I guess my only question is, did she mean to lie, or did she do it by mistake?
Wow.
No,
Wow. What I love about this is Dan has used his Jedi mind tricks to say that there's nothing there, but there's something there on something that's not there.
No.
And you've reversed it and said, there's nothing there, but I'm going to make it something
Too many
there.
years at sea and dark rooms with other men. That's all I can say.
These are not the droids you see.
No, in context. I mean, I watched a great deal of Comey's testimony before Congress, and while I thought Comey was impressive before, I truly think he is amazing now. One of the things he talked about, though, and I had no idea, I've never handled classified information, but one of the things he talked about was the C that occurs before and after in a classified paragraph in the context.
I'm not getting into...
No.
Hold on.
We
I know what these two are talking about.
We talked about intent.
Okay.
I cannot fully fathom the amount of material the Secretary of State has to bring in immediately before any kind of meeting she has, or in the process of doing her job day to day. The idea of missing the classified C in a paragraph that could be buried pages in to content.
Let's go to the former general counsel to the Homeland Security Committee under Benny Thompson, Denise.
No effing way.
Is that a classified no effing way, or is there C?
No, there was not. There was
that?
not a comma and a parentheses after it. So it's unclassified.
Because I cannot divulge the security, how things are done. But let me just be succinct. No effing way. Let's just leave it there.
Admiral Ken.
So, Dan, believe it or not, when people are given access to classified material, they're given something that is unique in American society. And you know what? It's unique across the world. It's called training. Okay. They tell this is what the C means. This is what the U means. This is what the S means. This is what the SC means. You're not just like thrown in the briar patch. Now, the problem with this really, quite frankly, begs the question. So the people who were sending her this classified material, did they have the training? If they didn't, then they probably didn't have access to the classified material anyway, and they shouldn't have been sending it to her in her email. That's the way it works, dude. It's not
Alan Moore.
So there was a time in my life when I was the Undersecretary of Commerce, and I saw many, many national secrets. The way I saw them was one day a week, I would go into a special room, I would sit with somebody who was bringing the information under lock and key, setting it before me. I could spend as much time as I wanted. I would read it. There was no reason to take. If there was a reason to take notes, I could have taken notes. A lot of it was pretty boring. It didn't seem that, quote, confidential. It wasn't up to me to decide that.
Because we are in a society of overclassifying everything.
Well, but there was.
Thanks for saying that. Actually, that matters.
But there was plenty of stuff in there that was, in fact, highly, highly confidential, potentially embarrassing to other countries, most particularly. And then I would finish, and I would thank
the security officer that brought you the material,
person, and then I would go on my way until I would see that person the following week. You learn this stuff by training, by
doing it,
by being briefed in how to handle it, what your responsibilities are, what your duties are. Members of Congress and members of the Senate, of which Hillary Clinton was, if you recall, they also are told, here are the do's and don'ts. Now, along with all of that is something called hubris, where you know what you think in your own mind. You think you're a little smarter than most other people, and you just decide, I don't mean any harm. And I'm
the people
doing
working
this,
for me don't need any harm.
And the people who are working for me, I guess, either didn't get the training or didn't feel comfortable in bringing back to the boss the problem with how the boss was doing things. So, believe me, it's not like every memo you get, there's a little C here and a C there. It can vary. And obviously, some of the stuff she was getting, the confidential paragraph was embedded. That's one of the ways it happens. And I'm sure she was also at different times going into a room with a briefer and reading stuff that she would read and retain. It varies all over. That's why you get the training. That's why you get the practice. That's why you have an infrastructure around you to remind you. That broke down.
One more thing.
One last thing, because we're going way long today.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
One more thing. The other way, and Alan alluded to this, you go into we call them a
skiff,
security or security briefings. I'm talking about, and so it is assumed that when you go in that facility, secured facility, that the material that's being discussed in there is classified. Now, you may not write any notes or now, but you've been exposed to this in your head. You walk out of the room, you go over to your unclassed computer, and you start sending an email that's got stuff you just talked about. In that email, you just violated the protocol. That's the way it works.
No, but this is the...
All right, Dan, last word.
This is the thing we're leaving off here. And I acknowledge everything you're saying, but none of us around this table, maybe the closest was Alan, but even Alan doesn't quite have... The rank of Secretary of State is not an insignificant rank in the United States. No.
Wow.
No.
You just told the Admiral he was a schmuck.
No, I'm not...
I'll see you after school, dude.
If Admiral Ken had responsibilities to go negotiate on behalf of the United States to a head of state...
He's a flag officer in the United States Navy.
To a head of state.
Dan, let me just
to a head of state.
I don't care. The rules apply regardless of rank. The rules apply to everybody. It's not...
What do you think?
So
specific.
I'm curious where he's going.
No.
Let him keep digging. Let him keep digging.
With a spade? Is that what we're giving him
Let
for
him keep.
Christmas?
Yes, keep
Go ahead,
digging.
Dan.
Keep digging.
Go ahead, Dan.
To suggest that somebody at the level of Secretary of State doesn't need information quickly, and while going into a meeting with Angela Merkel or Vladimir Putin, which she has done, which I'm comfortable saying none of us around this table have had in the world of speaking on behalf of the United States.
You're saying this, Dan, real quickly. You're saying this around a table to 5 people who have handled classified information.
Handling classified information, but have you spoken to another head of state on behalf of the United States?
Yes, I have negotiated with foreign governments.
No, I did not say on behalf of foreign government, to another head of state.
Yes, I have.
What is
It
that? What is
doesn't
that?
matter. I have negotiated.
What's
I'm
the
waiting
point?
for the point of these 30,000 emails that are out there that he thinks each one of
And
which
I believe,
was somehow critically tied.
I believe Director Comey said there were 3 that had the classification in them.
No. He said top secret. Yeah, there were top secret. There was the under 110.
There were more that were top secret. There were a dozen or so that were top secret, and then there were
like 100
6
some
or 8
odd
that were secret, and then a whole bunch that were confidential.
Considered classified.
About 100.
So here's the thing: is first of all, Dan. This is not a subject that's going to go away. I got to take a break. We still have to go on the Trump thing. So, and we're going to be long. This is going to be a longer show today anyway. So this is Backroom Politics Live from Shelley's Backroom, 1331 F Street, in the heart of our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. We'll be back to talk about the circus that is the Republican Party in 3 minutes. Stay with us. Wow, there are times where I really wish the public could hear what we do on break because that was just phenomenal. This is Backroom Politics, live from Shelley's Backroom, 1331 F Street in the heart of our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., live on Spreaker. And just when you think we couldn't have enough fun talking about the Democratic side, we get to talk about the flaming clown show that is the Republican side. The presumptive Republican nominee, Donald Trump, is going to Cleveland, and nobody has a clue as to what's going on. We've heard some of the news coming out of the Republican Party right now is, A, that the Veep stakes has been shortened to now about 3 people. The Trump campaign has confirmed that New Jersey Republican Governor Chris Christie has been fully vetted, that Indiana Senator Mike Pence is actively being vetted and being courted, as well as Newt Gingrich, who is actively promoting himself as a presumptive vice presidential candidate.
Can I point out that the Governor Christie's communications office, when asked about the governor's schedule, referred questions to the Trump campaign.
Yes, that might be another glaring idea. But so here's the thing: is Donald Trump. So I got to bring this up though because Donald Trump had, particularly after the email situation, particularly with what happened last week. Donald Trump went on these tirades, but really didn't do a good job about hammering Secretary Clinton on the fact that she was basically, head slapped by the FBI director, Alan Moore. How does Donald Trump not take advantage of that situation? He hasn't.
He can't get out of his own way. He's working at it.
He's trying.
He was remarkably measured in his response to the killings of last week. Now, we have set such a low bar for him that if he avoids if he avoids a major embarrassment or change of subject, we give him credit. But hey, you got to start somewhere. So he's trying. He's beginning. It would have appeared to learn a little bit, but again, he has said so much crazy shit.
Family show!
After
That
your last
he
comment, really?
can't escape. And as I've said, maybe it'll be my weekly thing, unless we become the United